Hey, you're watching Man That's Cooking, and in this video, we're going to show you how to make an oven-roasted standing rib roast. These are excellent for the holidays, and they're surprisingly easy to cook. Now, this recipe is going to cook to temperature. We recommend that you get yourself one of these temperature probes with an alarm. You can also cook by time, but the time may vary based on the weight of your rib roast. The first thing you need to do is separate the rib bones from the rest of the roast. And you can do this kind of upside down like this using your chef's knife, bringing the blade against the edge of the bones and letting the weight of the roast pull itself free, just like that. Next, you want to trim off any loose ends just like this, because that's just going to burn up and not cook correctly and look weird. So get rid of weird stuff. Next, take a sharp knife and make a cross-hatch pattern just like this. You want to lightly cut into the fat, but don't get deep at all into the meat. Next, you want to apply a coarse grain salt, such as kosher salt, to all sides of this roast, including the rib bones. And try to use a cooling rack and a cookie sheet, just like you see here. This is going to allow for airflow because this roast is going to go into the refrigerator for at least 24 hours. And you can leave it up to a maximum of 4 days. And this will dry brine the roast, adding flavor to the meat while also tenderizing it. So while this roast sits in your refrigerator, it's going to start changing colors. The salt's going to start to penetrate into the meat. And the refrigerator's airflow is going to circulate around through this cooling rack, and that's going to allow all sides to have air circulating around it. And you will notice a change in color, as you'll see here. It's gotten a lot darker, but that's perfectly fine. So the next step is to heat a cast iron skillet roughly around medium-high. You want to get it to about 475 to 500 degrees. You want to start out with the fat cap side down first. That's going to render off some of that fat just a little bit, but it's going to add some flavor into this pan. And you want to cook it for at least 2 minutes per side, and you want to get all sides up until they're brown, just like what you see here. And be careful with this. You're going to want to open up some windows, turn on some fans, maybe shut off your smoke detectors. Otherwise, you're going to have to share half of this with the fire department. And for these curved edges like the back, you could just rock it back and forth. It just takes a few minutes. This is not cooking the roast at all, except for the exterior surface. This is going to add flavor. It's going to add color. And when you do this browning step, make sure that you do it to a roast that came right out of the refrigerator. Don't let it warm up on the countertop. No need to do that. And while you're doing this, you want to preheat your oven to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to be a low and slow type of a cook. And once the sear is complete, now you can season this again on all sides. Now I know it's already been salted in the previous steps, but that's been absorbed. This is also a big cut of meat, so it can take it. So man here is adding salt, pepper, and garlic combination, and also some minced rosemary. Apply this to all sides, and you can also season the ribs as well if you like. And here's where you have a lot of options, whatever flavorings you like. Salt, pepper, and garlic, SPG, that's a good standard, always reliable. You could always instead do a Dijon mustard and a rosemary, minced rosemary. You could do a softened butter with minced garlic and rosemary. It's a lot of rosemary. That works pretty well. Or you could cook it well done and put ketchup on it, or A1 sauce. No, please don't do that. Now we're going to reattach this rib plate back to the bottom of the roast, kind of Frankenstein style. You want to use some butcher twine. This is typically available in your grocery store. Don't use zip ties or a staple gun. And what this is going to do is it's going to act as a heat shield, preventing this roast from overcooking. Kind of like those tiles on the Space Shuttle Columbia. Just don't let any foam hit the bottom of this rib roast. And if you're not a sailor or fisherman, any basic double knot should do. And if you're wondering, why do all this? Why cut the bone plate off and then tie it back on later? Well, it's because you have two choices. You can cut it off in the beginning, or you can cut it off after it's cooked. If you remove the bones before the cook, you can season all sides. You can sear all sides of the roast, and in the end, all you have to do is cut the strings, and you've got this quick disconnect, and it just removes the bones, just like that. Alright, so we mentioned cooking by temperature, so if you have one of those probes, just put it as far as you can into the center of the rib roast, and set the alarm for 125. And for those of you cooking by time, this was a 7-pound roast. It was cooked at 200 degrees Fahrenheit, as mentioned before, and it took about 4 hours and 35 minutes. So that's roughly 39.2 minutes per pound. So there's your math right there. And you want to let this rest loosely tented with foil for at least 30 minutes. You can go all the way up to 50 minutes. And when you're ready to serve this roast, just kick on your broiler on high and put this in for about 5 minutes, and it should brown up the exterior and warm it back up and make it ready to serve. And you can see the meat in this rib plate's a little underdone, and that's fine. So after you do the broiling step, put your oven back to 240. And if your rib bones are a little underdone like those were, then you could just put them right back in for about 20 minutes. And by the way, the same thing goes for the roast. So if you're slicing away and you like what you see, but some of your friends and family think it's a little underdone, just cut yourself some of your slices here, and then you can put the rest of the roast back in the oven at 240, along with these rib bones. And 20 minutes should do it. And you can see here these rib bones are nice and done, maybe a little overdone, but it all depends on your tastes, and you control that. It's better to be underdone than overdone, because you can fix underdone. And this is best sliced to serve, meaning that if you have enough people, you can slice and carve the whole thing. If you don't, just leave what's left whole and slice what you need and save the rest as a whole piece for later, and you can slice it up for another day. Make some sandwiches, make another meal. And take a look at this. You've got wonderful color all the way to the edge. There's very little gray band. You've got that nice fat right in the center. Low and slow is perfect for this type of meat. And it was really easy to do. So hey, thanks for watching this video. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe. Leave us some feedback in the comments section. Let us know how your roast came out. Hope you try this recipe for the holidays. Check out our holiday playlist where we've got a lot of great side dishes that you might want to make along with this recipe. Check us out at Facebook. Check us out at manthat'scooking.com. Thanks for watching.